We live through another night at Collinwood, unaware that a man will die before the break of dawn. A man who will soon learn the evil secret that exists in the old house on the Collinwood estate.
I am sick and tired of being the object of suspicion and innuendo. I am fed up with people who take it upon themselves to investigate me. Now, I've tried to cooperate with all of you, but I have been rewarded with one slap in the face after another. I will have no more of it. Now, do you understand that, Doctor?
I saw your sister Sarah tonight.
Apparently, David isn't the only one who's suffering from aberrations. You know as well as I do that I don't have a sister.
Perhaps I was wrong. I thought she said sister. Maybe what she really said was ancestor.
You have overstayed your welcome, Doctor. Good night.
Good night, Barnabas.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I just had a talk with Barnabas.
I assume that, but what brought you here?
Curiosity, Julia. As you would say, idle curiosity.
Develop the habit of appearing where I least expect you.
My being here isn't that unexpected, and obviously you find this house and what's in it quite fascinating.
I find Barnabas Collins a very interesting and perceptive man.
He certainly seems to know what's going on.
Look, Dave, I don't want to keep you any longer from whatever it is you have to do.
I'm sure you don't. Good night, Julia.
What happened? What did the two of you talk about?
He's very close to knowing the truth about me, Doctor. And when he does...
Barnabas, don't allow yourself to get upset about nothing.
I don't consider my life nothing.
But what exactly did he say that disturbed you?
He asked me certain questions that I would have preferred he hadn't asked.
You must have answered them well, because he seemed to know nothing when I spoke to him.
Do you really believe that?
Well, I believe that he may have some vague suspicions of something, but he has no proof of anything.
Dr. Hoffman, my existence has been won at a great cost. It is very precious to me.
It's very important to me, too, Barnabas.
Well, I can't just dismiss Dr. Woodard's presence here with a careless wave of the hand. I must know his every secret, just as he strives to know mine. Now, what is it that he knows thus far?
I told you, nothing.
Yes, one thing he knows is you. How long has he known you? Since medical school?
Well, yes.
He knows
but...
you're a doctor. He knows, therefore, that something in this house interests you medically.
Oh, I don't think you should assume that.
Now, stop thinking like a woman and start thinking like a doctor.
All right. Suppose he does know that something medically interests me here in the house. What of it?
The first question is what? The second question is who? And several questions later, our Dr. Woodard will manage somehow to find out about your experiments.
He won't.
It could happen like that. And if it does, he knows something else. That if you are experimenting, you are keeping notes of your experiments. You are, aren't you?
Well, yes.
Then I want you to destroy them.
Destroy them? Why?
Why do you think? I don't want him to find them.
Well, he couldn't possibly find them.
How do you know that?
Because they're locked in a strongbox in my room. Now, believe me, the notes are completely safe.
I'm telling you that I am not safe as long as they exist.
Dr. Woodard will never get those notes. In the first place, he couldn't begin to think of where to look for them.
I would like to believe that, Doctor. I would very much like to believe that.
Oh, Barnabas, you must believe that. You know I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize your existence.
Sarah.
What about Sarah?
He knows about her. He said, I saw your sister Sarah tonight.
Said it that way?
Yes, very matter-of-factly.
What did you do?
When he said it, I looked at him as though he were mad, utterly mad. Then I felt myself growing pale, and I forced the blood back into my cheeks so he wouldn't suspect how near to panic I was.
Poor Barnabas.
Yes, poor Barnabas. Forced to deny one of the two things in this whole world that matters to him most. Wherever you are, little Sarah, forgive me for having denied you, for not being able to look at him and speak the truth. Yes, Dr. Woodard, Sarah Collins is my sister and the dearest creature that ever walked this earth. Hello, Vicky.
You're back early? That's wonderful.
No, not so wonderful. I'm back early because I have to go away again.
Oh? When do you have to go? And why?
Well, in a few days. And for the usual reasons, business. I may have to be gone for a couple of weeks this time.
Oh. Where are you going?
To South America.
It's awfully far away.
Oh, it isn't really.
Well, it is to me. I guess that's because I've never been very many places.
Well, I've got news for you. You're going to do a lot of traveling after we get married. And you know something, Vicky? South America could seem a lot closer to Collinsport if we could set a date before I leave.
Rick, I've told you I can't do it. I can't do it until I know that David is better.
But you also said something about David's being very fond of both of us, which he is. I don't think he'd want to be the reason we're being kept apart.
But he's not the reason. I am. Don't you see, Brooke? I can't say to you, all right, let's get married next week or next month until I know that next week or next month David's going to be himself again. Mrs. Stoddard, I didn't realize you were here.
I'm sorry to intrude.
No, you're not intruding. Burke and I were just...
Quarreling.
No, not really.
Forgive me. I came in here to find a book, and instead I find two people who mean a great deal to me, unhappy because of all of us.
You mustn't feel responsible for old Caleb Collins and his crazy will.
No, but I'm somewhat responsible for David.
Mrs. Stoddard, it's my decision to postpone the wedding, and that's all there is to it.
Well, in that case, I think it's time for me to make a decision, too.
What kind of a decision?
Well, I've been thinking about it for several days, but I hesitated mentioning it because I didn't know how you'd react to the offer.
Offer?
But seeing you unhappy, well, whether you accept the offer or not, I'll have made it and I'll feel better about it. As you know, the west wing of Collinwood has been closed for many years. But I thought if you and Burke would like to live there after you're married, I'd be happy to open it up for you.
West Wing for us to live in?
Live in how, Liz? I don't understand.
Well, of course I couldn't sell it to you because it's part of this house. But it's a completely independent unit, and certainly as big as any house you might find. So, if you want to, you're more than welcome to live there until the house you want is available.
Burke, that would be wonderful.
And I assure you there won't be any strange old Collins wills tucked away in closets to prevent your moving in at the last minute.
What about strange old Collins skeletons? Any of those tucked away in the closet?
Oh, Burke, I think it's the best thing all the way around. You and Vicky could get married and have a place to live.
And be near to David.
Very near to David, but far enough away to guarantee complete privacy. I want you to understand that, Burke.
Yes, I think I understand that.
Well, that's the offer. I guess there's nothing more to say.
Oh, Mrs. Stoddard, it's the most wonderful offer I've ever heard.
My friend here is a very emotional girl.
Well, why don't you both think it over?
Yes, we'll do that. And we'll let you know our decision as soon as possible. And thanks, Liz.
Not at all.
Burke, what's the matter with you?
Nothing. Why?
You acted as though there was something very suspicious in her offer to us.
Because I didn't say yes right away. I wanted time to think about it, that's all.
I would have said yes right away.
Yes, I know.
Well, I don't know what there is to think about. Burke, you're not going to turn that offer down, are you?
I don't know. There are certain aspects about the situation I'm not sure I want to get involved in.
Like what?
Like you're working for the people we rent the house from.
Burke, you know as well as I do that I'm more than just an employee to the Collins family.
You'd still be on call 24 hours a day. I think that's a little bit difficult when you have a husband to think about.
Well, what do you suggest we do? Move to South America?
I know you think I'm being unreasonable and demanding. But it's just that I feel that no matter who else we have in mind, we have to think of what's best for us, for you and me.
I know that, and I do. Burke, I want to be your wife, but I don't see why I have to prove it by moving away. I can live anywhere and still be your wife.
I can't explain it, Vicky. It's just something I feel and don't like.
Do you mean to tell me that your main reason for not wanting to live in the West Wing is a feeling?
We'll call it instinct, or a fear that all of the terrible things that have happened to the Collins family might happen to us.
You're the one that used to tease me about my instincts and forebodings. You, the one who's so practical and logical, who never got caught up in the past and only lives in the present. Burke, look at you.
Do you know what happens to pretty girls who laugh at Bert Devlin? I love your laugh, Vicky. Don't ever let anything happen that'll stop you from laughing.
It would be a great mistake to underestimate the situation. It's very serious for us and for Woodard. In order to know just how serious it is, we must find out just how much Dr. Woodard knows, particularly about Sarah.
How do we do that?
We don't, you do, by asking him.
But he'll get suspicious if I ask him questions.
He's already suspicious. He's suspicion itself. And he's sure to go on probing and poking around until he learns too much.
All right, I'll go and talk to him.
Doctor,
Yes?
you said earlier that Dr. Woodard was the most brilliant student in your class at medical school. You were being generous. Actually, I think he was the second most brilliant student.
Well, they didn't take me as seriously as they should have, because I'm a woman.
My dear, that can be a mixed blessing, can't it?
that you dropped by, Julia. I've been thinking about you.
Well, I've been thinking about you too, Dave. And particularly what you said about little Sarah Collins.
What about her?
Well, I know I seemed rather skeptical about your theory that she exists in ectoplasmic form.
Materializing as a ghost, you mean?
Well, you must admit it's a rather startling thing to hear, and I suppose I was startled.
And concerned for me. How very sweet of you, Julia.
Of course I was concerned for you, Dave. We're old friends. We've known each other for a long time. Long enough for me to know that when you say you believe in something,
Even a ghost.
that I must trust your belief. Now, I want you to tell me exactly what you know about little Sarah Collins and why you think she's a ghost and what possible connection she could have with Barnabas Collins.
I'm very touched by your faith in me, Julia, but as a matter of fact, you weren't wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, it's very strange. You've had a change of heart and come around to my way of thinking, and I've had a change of heart and come around to your way of thinking.
My way of thinking?
Yes, I've given much too much time and thought to this, Sarah Collins business.
I don't understand.
Julia, suppose we forget Sarah Collins for now and talk about you.
Me?
Yes, I'm very curious as to exactly what you're doing with Barnabas Collins.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Julia, you led me to believe that you had some interest in him now. What kind of interest could that be to produce a list like this?
What is that?
It's a list of medical supplies, Julia, that you ordered recently.
Where did you get it?
From a friend at the Hollywell Pharmaceutical Company.
But why?
I suddenly found myself very disturbed by whatever it is you're doing up there at the old house. I wanted to know more about it, so I picked up the phone and made a call. I like to think I was doing it for your own good.
I suppose it's my turn to thank you for your concern.
Julia, there's something I don't like about this list. There's something about it that's very irregular. I'd like you to tell me what it is.
Dave, if you wanted to know what I was doing down at the old house, you didn't have to waste your time by contacting a medical concern. You could have asked me.
If I ask you, will you tell me now?
Yes, but it isn't easy.
Why not?
Well, because it's never easy for a woman to admit that she's making a fool of herself over a man.
What do you mean?
Dave, I don't have to draw diagrams, do I? Besides, it's not news to you. You guessed it yourself some time ago.
Guessed, what?
That I'm emotionally involved with Barnabas Collins. When I'm with him, I don't think of myself as a doctor at all, but only as a woman.
And how does he feel of you?
Well, he thinks of me as a woman, too.
Well, yes, I can understand that, but I feel somehow, Julia, particularly when I look at this list, that you're also important to him as a doctor as well. Now, I'd like to know why.
It's a very personal matter.
But Julia, look, I'm a doctor, too. I'm sure I'll understand the reason, whatever it is.
No, I don't think you can, Dave. And I think it would be best for you if you stopped asking me about it.
Best for me? Why?
Because you're probing too far into an area that you don't understand. You don't know the chance you're taking. If you did, you...
If I did? What?
Dave, for your own good, don't ask me any more questions. Don't ask anyone any more questions.
Julia, you threatening me?
I'm just warning you as a friend to stop now before it's too late.
Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.